Excuse me, Robo. Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
Ow!
Stay out of trouble.
I think it's rather obvious from the music that's playing right now what my favorite addition to this next part of Mortal Kombat 11 is. Fucking RoboCop. So this week I will be reviewing Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. Hatman will be talking about some James Bond shit. Plus, man, we got a lot of media to rag on this week. So let's get to it. They should have stayed out of trouble. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin. I'll buy that for $1.
Welcome to Micah and The Hatman Live. Alright. I want to thank everybody, by the way, for coming in today and hanging out with us. We do greatly appreciate it. Hatman, let's go ahead and get started. Quantum of Solace. Why?
Yeah. Well, for writing inspiration, oddly enough. So, Quantum of Solace is more easily accessible to me than Spectre right now. So, I wanted to get an idea of, like, where to go in my writing as far as, like, a secret society, like an underground group that has ties to all kinds of, high-level people would be. And I was like, Quantum of Solace sort of does that. Let me see what I can pull from that if there's anything worthwhile. And I didn't really get a lot of inspiration, not as much as I was hoping for. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. I own it. I've seen it several times, but it's not that great. I knew it wasn't that great. And I'm like,
and yet
still,
you did it anyway.
And still I did it anyway, because I was like, maybe there's some things that I could pull from Quantum. Maybe there's some bit of inspiration there. Not really. I probably would have been better off pulling from Spectre, of all things. Not quite the old James Bond movies, though, since those were a little more comical, and I want this to be as realistic as possible. But Quantum of Solace it's one of those movies where it starts out promising, like, oh, we have people everywhere. Turns to a MI6 agent, and he starts opening fire. Like, okay, that's cool. And then it just sort of goes all downhill with, actually, we're going to destabilize Bolivia so we can get a desert that has water in it so we can control this natural resource. Okay, I get it, but that's kind of dumb. Let's be real. Like, irradiating all the gold in Fort Knox is way more interesting than that shit. Do better, my God. And not to mention, like, most of the new characters are just really, really unlikable, too. Like, Strawberry Fields doesn't really do much. What's her name? Camille, Olga Kurylenko's character, she doesn't really do a whole lot. Fucking Dominic Green is just a dumbass. And this is another, oh my god, James Bond has gone rogue. What are we gonna do? Thing. It's just not good. It's not good. And Will Geary says not as good as Skyfall or Casino Royale. So I watched Casino Royale right before Quantum of Solace, and then I started writing in the middle of Casino Royale because I'm stupid like that. Casino Royale is still probably my favorite Bond movie. And Quantum of Solace being the follow-up to it,
it just falls flat.
I think that makes it worse in my eyes, just because there were so many places you could go with it, so much potential, and it just got shat down the fucking drain. Yeah. Not fun. Not fun, and I didn't get what I wanted out of it. So I wasted my time, essentially.
Yeah. Daniel Parker donated $5. Says Quantum of Solace was made during the writer's strike of 2008. They couldn't do any rewrites. That is true.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if a rewrite would save that movie. You just have to overhaul the script entirely. Nick White, you haven't seen the Daniel Craig Bond movies yet? Watch them. At least watch Skyfall.
No, like, at least watch Casino Royale and Skyfall.
Well, if you're going into it like blind, I would say, or not even blind, but just James Bond, but you don't know Craig's James Bond. I think Skyfall is a better entry point. If you want just a general introduction, Casino Royale.
No, I would say for Craig's Bond, you have to see Casino. You don't really understand his motivations or attitude without that movie. He's a very different James Bond.
But Skyfall doesn't really reference Casino Royale that much.
No, but Bond's attitude is always very much forged by Casino.
I suppose so. Well, there's an argument to be made as well that you'd need Casino. Actually, you need Casino and Quantum in order to understand his relationship with M moving into Skyfall too.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, I suppose so.
Casino Royale is in my opinion, it's my favorite Bond film ever, and it is the best entry point for somebody to get into James Bond. It really gives you
I would say so too.
Everything about this version of the character, because Daniel Craig is probably my favorite Bond next to Sean Connery.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Connery is my favorite, but right after him, it's Daniel Craig. Mm-hmm. I just feel like some of the films that they put out didn't match up to the quality of acting that Craig was bringing forward.
Yeah.
And that was unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like the problem with Pierce Brosnan. He got one good movie, and the rest was just wasting his acting talent.
Yeah, Brosnan was a really good Bond as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to my pick of the week, unless you have anything else to say.
No, because RoboCop is infinitely more entertaining than Quantum of Solace.
Yes, so my pick of the week is Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. So, to avoid pissing anyone off, I'm going to say right out of the gate, I don't think that this is worth your money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's overpriced. So
how much is it?
It's $40.
$40 fucking dollars?
It's $40 for a couple more hours of story and 3 more characters, plus a few extra costumes. Holy Ninjato donates $1. Says, "Here's to the good work of RoboCop for the apprehension of the murderers of the entire MK cast, the killer clown, the time-traveling murder robot, and the demonic vigilante." Yeah, that's the thing. RoboCop almost makes this worth it. Almost. Because it's fucking RoboCop. And he's portrayed by Peter Weller. I hear he even did some of the motion capture for it. Mm-hmm. Which he should, because he knows how to move like RoboCop better than anybody. So, the dude, studied mime to do it. If you get a chance, watch Peter Weller talk about preparing for RoboCop. It's a really, really cool thing. He's an awesome guy. But,
by the way, it's Dr. Peter Weller now.
Oh, that's right.
I believe he got his PhD in like art history or something.
Yeah. So he's on par with Armand Strange, our colorist for Inglewood.
There you go.
But anyway. So Valhalla Erickson asked the question, who would you recast as Bond once Craig steps down? Hatman, do you have a quick answer for that? If not, we'll have to answer it in the Q&A.
Either it depends on if you want to go older or stay about the same age as Craig-ish, Henry Cavill or Idris Elba.
There you go. So MK11 Aftermath has honestly does have a pretty good story. The story is that Liu Kang beats Kronika, the villain of MK11, after he becomes the god of fire and lightning. And the problem that arises is that he destroyed Kronika's crown, meaning that he cannot use Kronika's hourglass to either create a new timeline or fix the old one. Now, so Shang Tsung, still portrayed by Kerry Tagawa, steps through a portal along with Nightwolf and Fujin. Chaos Sonic donates $1, says, no donations today aside from this. I'm having a shitty day, especially since my computer screen broke when I turned it on. That's a bummer, buddy. I'm sorry about that, man.
Sucks.
But anyway. So the basis of the story is that Shang Tsung volunteers to go back in time with Fujin and Nightwolf to get Kronika's crown and bring it back to Liu Kang to properly fix what Kronika did. So, what happens next is Shang Tsung gonna Shang Tsung. But it's a really interesting story as to how he plays people and the manipulations and such. This didn't feel like the writers were trying to do a superhero film, which is good. It felt like Kung Fu Game of Thrones, which is more along the lines of what it should have been in the first place in regards to it. Because what is Mortal Kombat? Mortal Kombat is a mixture of Kung Fu films, like the old Shaw Brothers movies, and Dead Alive. That's basically it. So, if you don't get that vibe, if you're not willing to be that mature, don't come to the race. I genuinely wonder if Aftermath was written by somebody else, because it was leagues better than the original story was. Leagues better. They made Nightwolf interesting, which that's not easy to do, because Nightwolf is fucking boring. They, again, Kerry Tagawa, like, brings it as Shang Tsung. He's great in the role. So, the storyline, the thing about the story, though, you could just watch it on YouTube and save yourself a lot of money. That's the downside of it.
So the gameplay is just nothing really.
Well, and this is the problem with MK11 Aftermath. Is it refuses to tune up the gameplay. It still remains Mortal Kombat 11. It doesn't introduce any new mechanics. It doesn't increase the pace of the game. It doesn't do anything to lengthen combos or anything like that. It is still a very footsies-based, almost Street Fighter feeling game. The problem is that you look at MK10, and that game is fucking bonkers, and that's why it's so fun. You know, this game just, it's not. The fatalities are still fantastic. The friendships are largely hilarious. My favorite probably being... God, there's a lot of good ones. Raiden's is really good because it brings back Kid Thunder. I think Spawn's might be my favorite. Because he turns his cape into a hammock and is reading a romance novel with him and Wanda on the cover that's called Hellish Desires. And something about Al Simmons, like, reading a romance novel, I just find hilarious. As for the characters that are introduced, the new ones, you get Fujin, Shiva, and Nightwolf. Shiva is a grappler. She is pretty fun to play, but again, it's just you can't do anything like really nuts with her. One thing I did find funny though, they gave Shiva a costume that her ass is completely hanging out of.
Uh-oh.
And Sindel has one like that too. And I basically said when I was streaming it in the patrons Discord, I said, there is somebody at NetherRealm Studios who really is an ass man. Seriously. And that was a point that I made, like, originally, is like, so people complained about the downsizing of women's boobs in that, but if you look at Jade, Katana, Sindel, and Shiva, and now Frost too, they all have big butts. So, yeah, that's interesting. But because yeah, there are costumes that Katana and Jade have too, where their asses are hanging out of them. Scarlet does not. Scarlet, oddly enough, is the most modestly dressed of all of them, but she's still a babe because the voice act or the face capture actress is beautiful. So everybody loves Scarlet in that game. But anyway, they also bring in Fujin is a lot of fun because his just way of attacking is so unique. And then RoboCop. It's fucking RoboCop. His fatalities are great because he brings in Ed 209 for one of them. And by the way, they actually used sound effects from the movie, so it sounds authentic. Like every time he moves and things like that. Like, and again, Peter Weller is, reprising the role. They upgraded his armor a bit to include some of the stuff from RoboCop 3, but he's not shit like RoboCop 3 was. Like, he has a built-in riot shield now. He has a shoulder launcher that launches grenades and can launch tear gas and spike traps. Like, what they did with him was actually pretty cool. And he's the one like, he and Spawn are the two characters that can actually do nutty combos. But I think that's because the characters themselves are kind of bonkers. And as you can see in the screenshot there, they gave Sub-Zero his Deception costume, which is my favorite one. They gave Scorpion his Mortal Kombat 9 costume, and it's the best that costume's ever looked. And then they gave Frost her costume from Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. And it's the best that one's ever looked, too. So, it's a weird thing because there are some good things in this. Shouldn't have been $40, in my opinion. I think that what they needed to do is revamp the gameplay. I think that if you're gonna, like, the rolls, the wake ups and all that, and the delayed get ups and all that shit, that's good. And the ability to drop out of a combo on the defensive end, that's good. I like that system. But the fact that there's less juggle options, and every juggle option is so fucking predictable, it makes the game way too fucking slow. That's the benefit of like you look at Tekken 7 as in comparison. Tekken 7, every character has several launcher options to get combos in on you. But that's what makes it exciting, is because you have to be able to read it. If there's only one way to get to combo you, and it's predictable, the game is just, you're trading blocks, and opening up another player is like fucking opening a tin can with your fucking teeth. And considering half of mine are fake, it's tougher for me than others. You know? So, that needed to be added. I feel like the neutral jump punch should have become a launcher again, and the neutral jump kick should be the one where you can stuff people. You know, I feel like Mortal Kombat since 3 has been about bonkers fucking combos and over-the-top gameplay, and reducing that on probably the prettiest and most visually arresting title of the series was a big mistake. So, I cannot recommend MK11 Aftermath. Even though there are some elements of it that I like, I'm not going to tell people to buy it. So, there we go. Hatman, tell the world about Skyrim Grandma.
Skyrim Grandma is a grandma who plays Skyrim, as the name would imply. And she apparently decided to take a break from making videos because of health reasons. The gaming press, in their infinite wisdom, said no. Actually, she received a deluge of harassment, and she was opting out of making videos for mental health reasons. Skyrim Grandma goes out there and corrects them and says, no, you're wrong. This is bullshit. How about you should have contacted me for a comment on this? Game journalists decide, no, we're right, you're wrong, and our reporting is not going to be questioned. And circle the fucking wagons.
Fire them all.
That's the thing. You and I were both in games journalism. You longer than me, of course. At what point were we instructed to never back down and never admit that we were wrong or we got something wrong?
Sorry, repeat the question.
At what point in our games journalism training were we instructed to never back down and never admit any sort of wrongdoing or promoting misinformation?
We were never told that.
So why is it that now all of these game journalists from the big fucking outlets have in their minds that they are never allowed or never supposed to admit any kind of wrongdoing on their part?
It's preposterous to me.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense, especially when she's right there telling you, no, your information is wrong. Well, we're using one of your direct quotes on this. And, well, okay, evidently you fucked up if she's out there telling you, no, you got it wrong. It's your duty to correct it. Because if you don't correct it, then you're putting out false statements, and in some cases, that's legally actionable.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I don't understand it. I really, really don't understand it. Should we fire them all?
Yes.
Into the sun.
Get rid of every single one of them.
All journos are bastards.
Fuck every single one of these political activists posing as journalists.
Fuck them.
No. I didn't call for a fuck them.
Oh. Oh.
So the article that I wrote, allow me to bring it up. Let me just use my phone real quick. I got a new phone, by the way.
Oh boy.
Because my old one was, well, getting old. Should probably just download the app. I titled it, Gaming Journalists Hate Gamers and Don't Care About Games. This agenda-driven press needs to go. That is the title of it. Here's the final paragraph. Here's the issue. Video game journalism is meant to be a trade press. The point is to cover video games and give news and information to the reader. There's a great quote from Mass Effect 2, protagonist Commander Shepard. You have one job, information. If I can't trust your intel, then you're worthless to me. This is very true of the press, especially the trade press, because they are the line from the product to the consumer. The moment people's access to accurate insight into the industry gets clogged by nonsense narrative pushed by a backwards worldview, the press becomes pointless. And I argue in there that publishers need to fire them because they will not make you money in the long run. And I said, video game journalism should be about video games, not about nonsense, not about insulting the audience, not about stupid narratives. Video games. If you aren't able to understand that, I'd advise a new career. And that's the truth. I think somebody like Luke Plunkett should be in the fucking unemployment line. Absolutely. Fuck that guy. Because he reposted what VG2487 put on there, and when they corrected, or at least amended the article to include Skyrim Grandma's tweet, he didn't. He didn't give a fuck. Because it's about making gamers out to be the bad guys because the Cool Kids Club doesn't like people who buy things. These people are fucking parasites. They are scumbags. They are assholes. They have no business being in the press. They are there to try to make themselves look good by bashing everyone else around them as if they're so fucking superior. Well, guess what, assholes? None of you have a creative bone in your body. None of you are entertaining. None of you are interesting. And even the ones of you that are, that stand for these fucking assholes, you're a bunch of fat assholes, Jim. He's fat! No sympathy. And in all seriousness, no sympathy for these people. None of you should have jobs. None of you. You should all be fired. You all deserved Gamergate. You deserved all of it for trying to shove narratives down people's fucking throats that they're bad and they need to conform to your worldview. Well, guess what? Fuck progressivism. If you're a communist, fuck communism. Fuck Karl Marx. Fuck the fucking quest for bread or what? Like, fuck all of that nonsense. Fuck the bread two people that you guys like too. I'm not done. Fuck all of it. Fuck the nonsense, because guess what? Capitalism is good. Ideas are good, even if you don't agree with them. And here's other things that are good too. Titties are good. Booty is good. Beautiful things are good. Buff men are good. Wholesome people are good. But you want to know what isn't good? Game journalists. Because none of you give one iota of a fuck about what you're doing. And by the way, you want to know who you should blame above all? Not Anita Sarkeesian. I'm talking to game journalists here. Not Anita Sarkeesian for being a fuck nugget and complete and total hypocrite. Not Zoe Quinn for the exact same reasons and sucking dick to get to the top. And even then, it's never lasted long for her because she's a fucking scam artist, and 0 of you have reported on that. Because you should all be asking, where the fuck is the Chuck Tingle game? But no, you won't do it, will you? You goddamn cowards. No. The biggest thing about all of this, to me, is the instant that they decided that the people who click on the articles and the people who are the consumer are peasants. You out there listening right now, you are not a peasant. You are a person, and you get to vote with your wallet. And by the way, that wallet that you have in your pocket or in your purse if you're a lady, assuming, that is a powerful instrument. Very powerful. And the journalists should be beholden to you. Because they are a service. They need to act like it. Game journalists are not kings. They are not lords. They are not dukes. They're a bunch of fucking dipshit hipsters. Blame also Colin Campbell for playing your fucking hand with that Rock Band article from years ago on Polygon. He exposed that none of you give one iota of a fuck about video games. All you care about is political narratives. Every single one of you wishes you were Jason Schreier right now, working for the Washington for the Washington Post. Let's be honest. Schreier is the person who had the fucking endgame in mind. That's what they all want. Motherfuckers don't give a shit about video games.
They never have.
And they never will. So fire them.
No.
Fire every single one of them. Seriously, publishers, if you are out there, and maybe if any of you are listening to me, whether it's my articles or on RT or on this podcast, if you are listening, go and fire all of them. If they try to unionize, fire them even faster. Fuck them. I say right now, with game journalism, we need an exterminatus.
We have arrived, and it is now that we fulfill our charge. In fealty to the Lord our God, and by the grace of his throne, I declare exterminatus upon whatever scumbag we're declaring exterminatus on today. I hereby sign the death warrant of an entire wherever, and consign 1,000,000 souls, maybe, to oblivion. May imperial justice account in all balance. The Emperor protects. Deus vos, Deus vos, Deus vos, Deus vos, Deus vos, Deus vos.
Fuck 'em.
Okay. I feel better. I think. Hatman, take over.
Yeah. So Back to the Future. Yeah. Why the hell are we talking about Back to the Future Part 2 now? Apparently, there's a little bit of censorship going on. You guys know the movie, right? I hope you do.
You fucking better.
Yeah. If you don't, then there's some problems here. One of the best sequels of all time. There's a scene where Marty's trying to get the sports almanac back from Biff, who has swapped out the inside. He's put the dust jacket around Porno Mag, and Marty thinks he's got the sports almanac, but nope, he gets the Porno Mag. Ooh la la. And they cut out a shot of the Porno Mag from the Netflix version. It's claimed that this was based on the made-for-TV version, but the rest of the swear words are in there. It's fine. God, there's several of you who have not seen it. Wow. Go watch it. Go watch it. My lord. Anyway, Ghost in the chat also says the writer of the movie said it was Universal who did it. He didn't know this version existed. Which, of course, begs the question: what other movies have had bits cut out or have been otherwise censored or changed once they reach streaming platforms? And does this mean that it's going to keep happening in the future? I mean, we did see another cut of Star Wars with Disney Plus, the McClunky cut, if you will. So I don't really know how to feel about this one. I think if you're going to put a movie on a streaming service, it needs to be the movie as it was intended for wide release. Don't edit it, don't chop it up, don't do anything. But
what Holy Ninja Toad just said.
What?
He hasn't seen RoboCop.
Whoa!
We're doing a movie night in the Discord server for RoboCop soon, man.
Yep, we need to watch RoboCop.
Holy shit, dude! It's an amazing movie. Oh.
Yep. Waistcoat says Splash on Disney Plus. Yes, and that also reminds me, Lilo and Stitch got edited too.
What?
Lilo and Stitch got edited. The scene where Lilo goes to hide in the dryer, it's changed now. She's not hiding in a dryer because apparently that's dangerous and kids shouldn't be hiding in dryers and shit.
Well, duh, but still.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Part of the comedic effect.
Yeah, but it's changing it for no real reason. Like, okay, you're cutting out a porno mag because it might offend somebody's sensibilities about, seeing boobies in their fucking Back to the Future movie that has, quite a bit of nudity in it. Why bother? Like, what's the purpose behind changing these all of a sudden to meet newfound sensibilities? I don't like it. I think it's not really worth raising hell over yet, but it's worth at least raising awareness, because we don't want these films changed. We don't want the advent of streaming to mean all movies get software patches. That's not what it's supposed to be. And yeah, score one for physical copies. That's exactly why I still buy physical media. Gojira says, personally, I wouldn't care that much if streaming services were showing the TV edit versions, as long as they were honest about it. That's how they've been shown on TV for years. Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why I support having kids modes.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a good thing. I always felt like in video games, the Gears of War franchise handled it the best. Starting with 2. And by the way, this was Cliff Bleszinski's idea. Cliff said, we wanted to tell a mature story. But what we did for you guys, for those of you who might not, if you would rather this game be like a teen game than a mature game, we basically turned it so that the gore gets turned off and the profanity gets censored.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's a great idea, because so why not? There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think, but censoring it for everyone, I have a moral problem with.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of, do you remember Clean Flicks at all?
Yes, I remember the name.
for those of you who don't know, Clean Flicks was basically a way for, ironically enough, for Mormons to watch R-rated movies without all of the R-rated content.
Yeah.
It was basically like TV edit versions of movies, or in some cases it went a little bit further to censor some other stuff. And I understand that. Like if some people want to watch movies, or watch an important movie with their kid, not important movie, but an R-rated movie with their kids, but they don't want all the like sex and gratuitous violence and swearing in it and stuff, and they can't get their hands on a TV copy. Like, I understand edits like that, but it's like Gojira said, like if you're going to do something like that, be honest about it. Like make a space for it and be upfront and explicit that, hey, this is the safe for work version, I guess.
Serena donated $1 and said, "Hey guys, how are you enjoying the reading recommendations I gave you? Also, Hatman, you only have to read Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose, up to 121, which is the most recent issue."
That's still all of it. Each issue
How
is
fast
like
of a reader are you,
pages.
Hatman?
I'm not because honestly, like, I'm not even into it. I'm not even that into it.
I've been reading The Wicked and the Divine on and off. Whatchamacallit? I really want to read Saga, though, because Saga was just batshit insane. But I feel like I need to get Wicked and the Divine out of the way.
Yeah.
And I am a fast reader, so I can get through these a lot quicker. As Hatman can tell you, I do read incredibly quick. He's watched me read a comic before. I mean, heck, when you gave me the Black Panther book, I started reading it. He stepped out of the room for like 5 minutes, and when he came back in, I was a third of the way through it.
And it was especially shocking to me because I'm like, dude, Priest's writing is so damn dense. How the hell did you get through that much?
Yeah. But anyway,
oh man.
She also said, though, she has never seen RoboCop, Terminator, or the Back to the Future movies. Man, those are the best movies of those eras. Like
You're missing like
Terminator
a big
1 and 2 are great.
Piece of the bedrock of the '80s there. My God.
RoboCop is probably one of the best period pieces of that time period. RoboCop 2 is not bad either. And then, because RoboCop 2 is directed by the same guy who directed The Empire Strikes Back, Irvin Kershner.
Yep.
And then, Back to the Future is fantastic. So,
RoboCop 2 had it had a lot of potential, but it didn't pay off that much. I still say it's a decent movie.
There's some funny stuff to it. Murphy having a conversation with a corpse.
Bad language makes for bad feelings.
So yeah, needless to say, though, this is not something that we're fans of. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, because we've only got a few minutes before Q&A. So, really quick, CBR is trash.
Oh boy, what did they do this time?
They bashed Captain America. They said he's selfish, that he's not really a hero. They're saying that a person who willingly jumped on a grenade before he was actually Captain America to save his fellow soldiers is a selfish person. They're saying that Captain America, who destroyed his friendship with Tony Stark to protect his friend Bucky from and defend his innocence, and even lit the superhero world on fire to defend his best friend's innocence, is a selfish person.
The guy who was literally molded by self-sacrifice in comics and in cinema.
Yeah.
Is a selfish person.
Well, they were specifically talking about MCU Cap. And I'm like, Captain America did everything that he did in those movies for somebody else. The person he was thinking about when he put the plane in the water in the first movie was somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
When he woke up and he started to lead the Avengers, what was his first concern? Civilians. You know, when it was the same thing with the second one. You know, it was the same thing in Winter Soldier, so on and so forth. He did everything that he could to try to minimize casualties.
Right after the fucking building blew up in Civil War, the very beginning of Civil War, what's the first thing he fucking does? Let's check for survivors.
Yeah, exactly. This is Captain fucking America. This is Steve Rogers.
Like, I can sort of understand in the context of his ending in Endgame, like just choosing to forego the rest of the world and grow old with Peggy Carter. But as far as like that's a Steve Rogers thing, though. As far as Captain America,
that was him retiring.
No, yeah, but Captain America himself, no, he is the furthest from selfish. I mean, that was the whole point of the dichotomy between him and Tony Stark.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. You have to think of it this way. At the end of Avengers Endgame, the job is done.
Mm-hmm.
Thanos is dead. Mm-hmm. His army destroyed. The heroes won. The Infinity Gems are going to be sent back to their proper timelines. In their world, they've been destroyed. Every major Hydra has been defeated. Every major threat that the Avengers have fought lost, and they won. Captain America saw that as a time to retire the shield and give it to his friend to take up the mantle. It was for him, in Steve's opinion, it was time. Ultimately, there is a time where everybody has to put down the sword and settle into something else. And Steve realized it was time to do it. That's not selfish. This is a guy who has given everything. You know? And he felt the job was done, the world was safe. He did his duty. I mean, this is what you would expect from a hero. But a lot of heroes don't in comic books because the job is not done. Movies are different. So, people are saying Galactus, Doctor Doom. Well, they don't exist yet in that universe. At least not as we know. You know, those films haven't been made yet. Yeah, Holy Ninja Tail actually summarizes this really well. Taking experimental drugs that are deadly to protect your country makes you selfish, according to leftist anti-American morons. Bingo. Yeah, like the line that he says when he is getting into the elevator in the second film. Gee, what kind of crazy person would let a German scientist experiment on him for the good of their country? So, people are listing all these villains that have not appeared yet. So, okay, chat's fucking with me right now. I gotta minimize you guys for a bit. We gotta get moving into the Q&A. So we'll just say this: this is the reason we should fire comic book journalists too. Fire all of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not interested in comic books. They're not interested in these sorts of things. They're interested in narratives. Fuck them. Get rid of them. Fire them too. You know what? Fuck it. Exterminate us on comic book journalists too.
We have arrived, and it is now that we fulfill our charge. In fealty to the Lord our God, and by the grace of his throne, I declare exterminatus upon whatever scumbag we're declaring exterminatus on today. I hereby sign the death warrant of an entire wherever, and consign 1,000,000 souls, maybe, to oblivion. May imperial justice account in all balance. The Emperor protects.
Deus vult, Deus vult, Deus vult, Deus vult, Deus vult.
Okie dokie. So, Hatman, are you ready for questions?
I suppose I have to be.
Holy Ninja Tail wants to know, dumbest friendship in Mortal Kombat 11? Sindel's.
Yeah, Sindel's. Yep.
Because it subverts expectations, and the problem with subverting expectations... Maximilian, actually, during that live stream, by the way, Maximilian nailed exactly why subverting your expectations is terrible sometimes.
Yes,
he goes,
absolutely.
because people were arguing, oh, it subverts your expectations, that's why it's good. He goes, no. He's like, if you subvert my expectations and what you actually present me is garbage, it doesn't stop it from being garbage. In fact, it makes it worse.
Yeah. A bad twist can ruin a fucking narrative.
See M. Night Shyamalan. Hey, let's have this race of aliens be afraid of water and try to invade a planet that is 2/3 water. Spider Nick wants to know, how would we write a RoboCop story?
Set it in the present time.
No, I would not do that. I would like to explore I'd almost like to explore like domestic terror situations with RoboCop. I'd like to have RoboCop in a situation where I'd actually like to see Murphy investigate something. I'd like to see him butt heads with the FBI. I'd like to have the FBI have actually a similar program to RoboCop and see what happens there. God, that would be cool.
So basically make a good version of RoboCop 2?
Yeah, pretty much. Servant of God says, for the Entertainment Podcast, should Doom Guy be added into MK11 to add on to the bad ending, and why should Daisy be given Monty Python qualities a la Holy Grail? I don't know about the Daisy thing, because that's 2 questions, so I'm just going to answer the Doom Guy thing. So my thing with, like, the bad ending of MK11 Aftermath, I'm of the opinion that at this point, characters from other universes need to band together to beat the new bad guy. I'm not going to say who it is. So that would give you an ability to basically have Spawn and RoboCop team up and save the universe. I think that would be fucking great.
So arguably, you could do Injustice versus Mortal Kombat.
Well, no, because neither of those are DC characters. But you
Right,
could
but
also,
you could.
But
Like,
the rumor,
if you're talking about crossovers
well,
from
I don't
other
want to do
universes.
that, no, because I want fatalities. And the last time they did Mortal Kombat versus DC, they took them out.
Yeah.
So fuck
yeah,
that.
that's true.
No, what I would want is to integrate other characters. I'd love to see, the rumor is that Bruce Campbell is going to be bringing Ash to Mortal Kombat. That would be that would be hilarious in a way, because you could have Ash, you could have Spawn, and you could have RoboCop. Like, that's a hilarious, there's hilarity and yet awesomeness that you could bring from that pairing. And then you add Doom Guy to the mix. You could make a joke like RoboCop looks up Doom Guy's history. He goes, "From what I see here, you blasted a hole into the surface of Mars. That is in direct violation of property damage." And Doom Guy, of course, says nothing. But Dr. Samuel Hayden, who is speaking for him, goes, "I told you not to do that!" Valhalla Erickson donates $5 and says, if you're going to write a vampire story, what way would you make vampires scary again? How would your vampire be different compared to other versions? Easy. I'd make them complete bastards. I'd make them monsters. Make them fucking mean.
So that's what I would do.
I would not want to make a Vampire 2 totally different, because making different and unique vampire stories is the quickest way to fucking it up.
It's true.
Go back to the traditional. They are creatures of the night. They are monsters. They are terrifying. They're so romantic and have feelings and whatnot.
Yeah, fuck all that. They want to tear your throat out.
No, they want to fucking eat people.
Yeah.
Like I would not do the politics, the ethics of whether or not it's good to eat people to protect
We need to
your
have
own
ethics
sanity.
in cannibalism.
Oh my fucking god! No, I would not do some bullshit like the ethics of eating people in order to maintain your sanity, so you don't go wild and just start killing people left and right. No, fuck that. Make the vampires fucking wild. Make them rip people to shreds. Fuck it.
Exactly.
They're wild fucking animals.
Next. Telling so everybody wants to know 2 things. Have you heard about the new He-Man Netflix show? Not going to be about
Yes.
He-Man, but Tila instead. Yes, that's why I'm not going to watch it.
Kevin Smith said that it was going to be He-Man focused, and he's the one who's running it. So, for right now, I'm going to have to trust his word.
Yep. Matchstick wants to know, on the topic of censorship, since there are so many cuts of Star Wars original trilogy, what if a disc was made that is a build-your-own cut? And he hasn't seen RoboCop, Back to the Future, Terminator, or Predator. Oh, you need to rectify all of that. A disc that was build-your-own cut? I don't know how well that would sell, really. People like to be told stories. Most people don't tell stories because they're not good at it. Alistair wants to know, which Versus Battle show is more bullshit, Deadliest Warrior or Death Battle? Death Battle. I don't like the idea of using composite characters. And they do that a little too often.
I'd say so too, but more for the fact that they can't actually like test things. They can only just make estimations and guesses with the math. Whereas Deadliest Warrior, you're actually going through with like weapons and armor tests and shit. So
This is true.
it will kill. That's not Deadliest Warrior, but
That's Forged in Fire.
yeah, I know. Like I said, it's not Deadliest Warrior, but I just wanted to say that.
Okay. It is that time for the chat. So, we will ask the chat, or the chat will get to ask us questions for about 4 minutes. And then we got to move into anime cringe. So, Hatman, grab some questions.
Anime cringe.
We have anime cringe
I
today.
didn't know we were doing anime cringe.
That's what it says right below you.
Oh shit! God damn it! I always get bamboozled in anime. Anyway, Source 100 asks an interesting one. How would you do Mortal Kombat story? Continue after Armageddon or do a new timeline as well?
Oh, fuck, new timeline. Absolutely.
Armageddon kind of like... Armageddon was written as basically the end. So there's really no way to continue that. You would have to either restart completely or do a new timeline in a semi-reboot. So, yeah, that. Hardworld asks, with Crunchyroll being an official section on HBO Max, I did notice that, what are the odds HBO Max gets the rights to Evangelion and gives us the classic English dub version? Almost zero.
Yeah.
Because Netflix got the license to that.
They 100% have the license for Evangelion.
Yeah. Let's see. Jason South asks, Hatman, are you excited for Berserk? I know Micah is, but what about you? Micah's a much bigger fan of Berserk than I am. I just sort of read Berserk when I have the time.
Berserk.
Crystal Hydra, we talked about the deer lady on Twitch's council, the TLDW on that is it's bullshit. She's bullshit. Fuck her.
Yeah.
Will Geary asks, which RoboCop film do you like the least, RoboCop 3 or the remake?
3. It's not even close.
3 by a long shot.
The remake is tolerable. 3 is just garbage.
Yeah. The remake is all right if you don't think of it so much as a RoboCop remake. Ryan Potter asks, is there any feasible way to make a Mortal Kombat game with every character that ever appeared? Like,
They've
did
done
that.
it several times, yeah.
Yeah, they've done that. So, yeah, it's feasible. Absolutely.
I don't want them to do it with every character that ever appeared, though.
Yeah, it's too much.
Fuck.
Especially trying to figure out the story with that. Favorite JoJo ending theme?
Roundabout.
On you. Roundabout's classic. I can't listen to Roundabout without thinking of JoJo.
Same here.
Is it bad that I never liked Walk Like an Egyptian?
Dude, I hated when they actually introduced that. Roundabout just fit JoJo for whatever reason.
Yeah. Angry Game Boss says, stuck on making a story. Would it be best to go back to the first plot idea and add in new ideas I came up with to make it better and interesting? Try it. Try it and see if it is better and interesting, and if not, scrap it and redo it. I've done both, and it just depends on whether or not that initial idea holds up once you go through moderate rewriting. But if it doesn't, then just scrap it and start over. Sometimes it's better to just do that. This is interesting. I'm Your Pepper says, I got into an argument with my brothers where they accused me of being a fair weather fan of Star Wars for hating the Disney trilogy. Your thoughts? How in the fuck?
Can you divorce brothers?
I'll give you this on the condition that you threaten them with it. Anyway, Leonardo 1 asks, thoughts on digital downloads replacing theaters? I don't think they're going to replace theaters.
Not yet.
I don't think they're going to replace theaters at all. I think the social element of being able to watch a movie, especially like a big blockbuster or anything that's really anticipated, with a big group of people, is always going to be appealing. Even knowing that you could just stream the movie from your couch at home at midnight. It's fun. That the theater going experience, I think, is what's going to end up saving theaters. Because look at, just for an example, look at how popular crowd reaction videos are to certain spoilery moments in films.
Yeah. All right. Last one. Valhalla Erickson donated $5. Says, possible to do dark fantasy but in a more idealistic tone? Yes, you can. I think that.
Yep, you can.
It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
You don't want it to. You want it to be about the story.
Shit.
But there's nothing wrong with adding things like that. It's just you got to make sure that it's not preaching. That's the big thing.
Put hot chocolate off my fucking shirt.
Okay, it is time now, Hatman, for the cringe. So,
all right, send me what you have.
well, it's in the Discord server.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes.
Is it in Animu?
Yes, it is the 7 Deadly Sins one. That's the first one
Okay.
we're doing.
Who posted that fucking picture of Jar Jar Binks as fucking Sailor Moon?
That would be Waistcoats.
Okay, who drew that?
I think she might have done it. I don't remember.
That's simultaneously, you know what? To steal a line from Strong Bad, that's impressive, disturbing, and makes me uncomfortable. Okay, 7 Deadly Sins, funny moments. All right, tell me when.
Hold on. I have to set a couple of things up real quick on my end because I'm going to just stream it over from my other PC, and that involves the use of a capture card that needs a setup. So, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Yes, I know skip frames detected. Fuck off and let me do my thing. Jesus Christ. I might switch back to regular OBS, man. Like, this version of OBS is really pissing me off. Like, I can't fucking do anything with it. There we go. So now the audience will be able to hear it. All right, Hatman, are you ready?
I am prepared.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
I hate intros like that.
Well, yeah, I've actually seen 7 Deadly Sins, so...
I have not, so this is new for me.
So yeah, that wasn't that bad. Were people able to actually hear that? Please let me know.
Who? What?
Were people actually able to hear the audio?
I don't know. It says audio is spazzing out. No audio from the video.
Okay. Give me a second. Because, yeah, I didn't hear anything out of my speakers over here. So I'm going to test something real quick. There we go. Got it working on my end so I can hear it. So let's grab the next thing of cringe. Nobody's putting any in the Discord server. What the fuck?
Hold on. Are we still watching it, or did it get paused?
No. Well, you were only supposed to watch up until like the end of that scene where she pulled her skirt up.
Okay. Yeah. Eh.
Well, while people decide what they want, I'm gonna run a test real quick.
How many more anime cringes are we running?
We owe one more.
One more. Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Oh, Harbaugh beat me to it. Damn it. How about Bobobo? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, now it's coming through. You guys are able to hear that now, right? People aren't saying whether or not they're hearing it, and I really need feedback right now. So it's still spasming.
Audio's fucked.
Yeah, this is the last time we're fucking using this software. This fucking OBS Streamlabs has gone to shit. Like, it just never fucking works. I did not have this problem with normal one. Alright. So, somebody's gonna have to put that in the Discord server. I'm sorry, guys, we can't. There we go.
Yep. Spider-Nick got it. So, it's Bobobo.
Yep, so we're not gonna be able to actually show it. You guys are just gonna have to hear it, so.
Yep. I'll post a link in the chat. No audio at all?
Yeah, we heard you guys. We've moved on. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Tell me when.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Let me consult my character.
Oh god, this is the dub version.
Oh, I can't believe I'm gonna get to hang out with the big boss himself. Huh?
King Nosehair! Everyone knows fish swim in schools, and you're interrupting class! If I hear one more peep out of you, I'm gonna cancel the lesson and go fishing! Let's start!
Oh no! He forgot to use bait!
I had him and I lost him. Oh why, didn't somebody remind me that I was supposed to use bait?
I have to learn to speak up.
All right, class. Let's see if you geniuses can solve this problem. You probably don't know more than a box of beans!
Well, as a box of beans, I can tell you the answer is 12.
Oh, by the way, these beans have spider webs in them.
Need to catch up.
I'm taking over this class. Whoever can solve this problem will graduate.
Well, let's see. You carry over 8 from
6 times 4 y, then subtract the circumference. Add it to the square root of 9 times 5, divided by the cosine 18 squared, multiplied by pi r 7 11 times.
Wrong!
math hurts. Oh.
This is the worst school I've ever been to, and I've flunked out of them all, so you know what we need?
Ah!
A football team.
Now watch this. Ah!
Oh, yeah!
I can kick too. Here. Ah!
I'd like to try it for the football team too, but I can't because I've already told the home ec teacher that I'd be captain of the cooking team. Anyone want to try my corn chowder?
No!
Cooking hurts. Oh, oh.